Hello everyone, welcome back to another 1v1 Warhammer match here. I am bringing the Beastmen and we are facing off against the Vampire Counts. For my army, I have a front line of 4 Gore Herds with shields. We have 3 Ungore Spearmen back here, 2 Bestigores, the double Gore Bull. We have Morgor the Shadowgave, a giant named Bob, and then also a Brave Shaman of the Wild who I have Vile Tide, that's a small explosion spell, and then the Mantle of Garok, which is a very powerful buffing spell, but that also has a drawback of dealing damage to the unit that it buffs. Over here for the Vampire Counts, actually I'm just going to press play, we have a group of Fellbats, Blood Knights, Vargulf, Banshee, 2 Cairn Wraiths, 2 Graveguard, 4 Zombies, 2 Cryptors, Manfred von Karstein on a Dragon, and I think that's it. Yeah, that is it. So initially in this battle, I was going to move our forces, because I figured they would be deploying out here in the open, so I was going to deploy my forces here and then go up and into this forest to try and flank them, because I want to try and have a forest battle, because Beastmen don't really have any penalties in the forest, whereas the Vampire Counts will, like this Vargulf. Right here we have a Vile Tide spell going down these Cairn Wraiths, just trying to get some damage on them, because it's magical and they can only really be killed by magic. Vargulf is going to run immediately into one of our Gore Herds, so I'm going to respond with our 2 Gore Bulls. And what this is, I believe, is just a tactic to try and get my Gore Bulls out of formation. You can see, I think that's Mantle of Garok being dropped on him. Yeah. So I wanted to try and kill this Vargulf very quickly, so we're going to engage here. You see the Fellbats, the Banshee, and the Cairn Wraiths coming along with Manfred von Karstein. And they are trying to kill my Gore Bulls very quickly is what is going on here. We have a group of skeletal warriors being summoned, so I'm going to try and pull them out of this battle here because I can see what the enemy is trying to do. And we're going to draw them closer into the forest where we are going to get some support. I think I throw my best scores in here soon. Also, here come the Blood Knights, also trying to get towards my Gore Bulls. They're going to be stopped by these Gore Herds that actually do a lot of damage there. Another Vile Tide spell being cast on my Brave Shaman of the Wild. The Brave Shaman of the Wild does have an ability that whenever you cast a spell, it gives speed and vigor to your entire army. So bringing a spammable spell like Vile Tide is not a terrible thing. Even though it does really low damage, it still has a... It helps his him buff the speed and vigor of the enemy of your army. We have more skeletal warriors being dropped down here. The Vargulf came in for another strike, so we did some damage to him. And now Manfred von Karstein, the Cairn Wraiths, and I believe the Blood Knights are going to be coming over here. And the first part of this battle is basically just going to be my 2 Gore Bulls trying to kill Blood Knights, Vargulf, and Manfred, and then those units trying to kill the Gore Bulls. It's just this like kind of back and forth. I'm not really doing a hard engage with the rest of my army because there's really no reason to. They would just be clumping up a lot. So we're just kind of assigning units here and there to kill these Spearmen. I'm trying to run the Gore Bulls around so the Cairn Wraiths can't catch us. We have Manfred von Karstein coming in front of the charge. Vargulf is going into these Gore Herds with shields. I'm going to bring Bob the Giant over here to threaten them, and I'm going to keep Morgor over here dealing with some skeletal warriors because it's something that he can do really well. I think that's the 3rd one that's been summoned? 2nd or 3rd one been summoned? Oh, right there I was trying to... So I was trying to cast the Chaos Spawn from Morgor, the one that destroys the unit, and I don't know if it works on summoned units, because it should work, because they have the health required, but maybe it doesn't work on summoned units, which I guess can make sense. But I wanted to test it out because I never had before. So over here we have a best score and a Gore Herd in combat with some Cairn Wraiths, which is okay for me. I'm fine with that. We have Manfred von Karstein casting another group of skeletal warriors. You see he took some of a miscast there. Blood Knights coming into our Bestigores along with the Banshee and the Vargulf. So I'm going to run my Gore Bulls back into this fight to try and do some damage to the Blood Knights, I think, right now. And we're going to move our army closer. You can see the rest of the enemy army is also not engaging right now. They're just kind of sitting on the hilltop. So we're just kind of having this kind of skirmish back and forth battle with the more mobile forces of the Vampire Counts and my Gore Bulls. Bestigores are taking a lot of damage here. And right here I start to bunch up, so I'm going to try and spread out my army a little bit more. You see Invocation of the Heck going down, keeping these skeletal warriors and the Cairn Wraiths are now going to be healed back nearly up to full. Blood Knights got a lot of healing as well. Going to be diving into those. I think this is another Mantle of Garok being dropped. Maybe not. Yeah, it is. Okay. Trying to destroy these Blood Knights. The Mantle of Garok increases your melee attack by 58 and weapon damage by 44%, which is insane on a Gore Bull. So they're just going to be wrecking some Blood Knight face. But again, the drawback is you do have to take basically a Spirit Leech at the end of the buff's duration. So there is a negative. But I think it fits with the Berserking Gore Bull, so I was fine with that. Right here, so I try to pull some Spearmen behind the Vargulf and the Blood Knights to try and cut them off from their retreat this way, so then they are going to be funneled down this way instead. I'm going to continue to chase them with our Gore Bull, and Morgor is getting into there, who's now going to be attacking, I believe, these Cairn Wraiths. I'm trying to hold them in place and keep them separate from the rest of the army, which I think is about to come off of the hill here. Meanwhile, this Banshee is just doing some damage to our Gore herds, which is okay. Bob the Giant's in here killing some skeletal warriors. Morgor is chasing these Cairn race. So you can see we have destroyed their leadership and they are starting to crumble. They have not much health left for the regeneration. Blood Knights have taken a lot of damage. Vargulf has taken a lot of damage like twice, but has been regenerated I think twice at this point. Gorbals, one is below half, the other one is still looking pretty good. We're going to run them in here, and again, they don't really have penalties in the forest, whereas the enemy large creatures do, so I was trying to catch them inside the forest. But they're going to be able to escape out of there. So I'm going to try and go for the Blood Knights instead, because they're closer. I think we get a charge off. There we go. So now the Vargulf is going to re-engage. We still do have forces nearby. So I want to try and support my Gorbals, because again, this entire first part is... my enemy really wants to kill the Gorbals, and so it's constant repositioning, trying to get them out of a bad situation, while also dealing some damage. We have another invocation of the Heck being dropped by Manfred von Karstein there. So we're going to dodge one of the charges from Manfred von Karstein, going back into the forest and closer to the rest of our troops. I've summoned a group of Chaos Spawn at this point. We have Ungor herds nearby, Morgos nearby, and we're going to try and turn around on Manfred, who's now landed in the forest, so we're going to try and do some damage to him. Meanwhile, the rest of the enemy army is coming down off the hill, so I'm trying to, at the same time, engage with Gore herds and best Gores. Bob the Giant is going to be going into these Graveguard, because that's a really good target for Bob. And I think the Brave Shaman is going to go into melee combat as well. Meanwhile, over here, we are still just micromanaging the Gorbals. Manfred managed to escape, and you can see he's already regenerated a lot of his hit points, so he is near the end of his regeneration cap. And yeah, the main engagement's going on, so we have a bunch of the Crypt Horrors and the Graveguard going up against my Ungor Spearmen, which don't have much of a chance, but they are just here to kind of support Bob the Giant and his endeavors, for the most part. Running the Gorbals over here. I don't remember why. I think I was just continually microing them, so it wasn't easy to land on them, kind of like this, but they're going to catch the Gorbal. The other one's going to go flying off the... out of this engagement, so we're going to try to do some more damage to Manfred von Karstein, who's kind of isolated here. Blood Knights and Vargulf's crew are coming in here against Morgor. I think they're actually trying to get to the Gorbal, really. And you see the Banshees going on the Gorbal, and I'm just trying to run them out of here, so I give him an attack order, and then I cancel the last moment, just to try and get closer to these Ungor Spear. I'm just trying to get bodies around the Gorbal, because it's obvious that he is going to be a target. Meanwhile, the rest of the army is just, you know, Gore herds versus skeletons. It's not too much exciting, just a typical engagement, but the real happiness, or excitement's happening over here, with the enemy continually trying to kill my Gorbal. You can see he's on the edge of death. Edge of death. We have the Apocalyptic Vision from Morgor the Shadowgrave going down here, so I'm trying to now go on the Vargulf once again. Blood Knight's got another invocation of Nehek. And you can see Manfred's coming back in here, so he's going to do another charge on the Gorbal. I was trying to get them pulled out of here before we got charged, but now we're going to have to re-engage against Manfred, who has taken so much. Look at that damage! Look at that damage! Kill him! Kill Manfred! We're going to get a couple. Look at that! Look at that! He has 500 hit points left. Kill him! But he's going to get out. And he even miscasts another Skeletal Warrior to try and stop the Gorbals from killing him. So he took a lot of damage from miscast in this battle so far. And I think they managed to kill... yeah, I think that Vargulf here managed to kill my first Gorbal. We only have one left who's below half health. I'm trying to get him around some additional bodies to take some hits for him. So I dropped this Gore herder over there. Bob the Giant's now over here into the second Graveguard group because he devastated this first one. My Brave Shaman is dueling a Banshee right now, which is not exactly what I want them to do, but I lost kind of track of him at this point. We have another group of Chaos Spawn that have been summoned in, and I'm going to try to help him. Meanwhile, we're just trying to take out this Vargulf, who's currently crumbling, doesn't have any hit points left. A couple of my units have routed. I'm going to try and pull him back into the fights soon-ish, but they are just near death, so the leadership is going to suck. And against a army with a lot of fear and terror, that's a bad thing. And again, my Brave Shaman was just over here getting killed by the Banshee in the Cairn race. The Chaos Spawn just kind of doing what they can. Morgor the Shadowgrave is now rolling with the Gorbal to try and help him and keep him protected because he's an obvious target. Manfred is now regenerated basically all that he can, but he still has almost no hit points left. Vargulf and the Blood Knights are still alive, as are, I believe, both Cairn race, even though they have taken a lot of damage. We still have both Graveguard, I think, but even though both of them have taken a lot of damage as well. For me, you can see one of my units being chased off by a Cryptor over there. A lot of my infantry has been almost totally destroyed, so I really only have the Gorbal, Bob. I do have this one Bestigor still left. This Brave Shaman is going to be routing here soon. Vargulf is going to come over here and follow my Gorbal, who I charged into these Blood Knights. I charged into them because they were running like this, and we charged into the side because I wanted to deny them their charge bonus, because that's where a lot of their damage comes from. So we're just over here trying to finish them off. You see Manfred's going to come in here, but we do have Morgor, and now I'm running Bob the Giant and our other units nearby to try and surround this clump of units that we have been trying to destroy for like 10 minutes now. So we're just doing what damage we can here against the Blood Knights and the Vargulf. You can see they're just going to have a staring contest here for a moment, take a breather, but then they're going to re-engage the combat here soon. So now we have another group of Chaos Spawn that was summoned in here, and now that's going to help us against the Blood Knights and the Vargulf, who's taking a massive hit. And we're going to try to finish him off. Manfred's trying to finish off the Gorbel at the same time. Meanwhile, again, the rest of my army, most of it is routed off, so all we have left is really what you see right here, and then this best score unit. My Brave Shaman is going to be chased off the field. Gorbel is trying to do what he can, trying to finish off that Vargulf. Getting knocked into the forest. Blood Knights are coming, and there we go. The Chaos Spawn, I think, finished off the Vargulf, or maybe just crumbled to death. Blood Knights are going to charge in. We're going to do a couple more hits on them with the Gorbel. Bob the Giant and Morgor over here dealing with the Banshee and some Skeleton and or Graveguard and Zombie nonsense over here. Felbat's coming in to try and kill off the Gorbel. Manfred's doing the charge here again, which is kind of risky at this point because a couple good hits with the Gorbel against Manfred is going to be death. And I think I gave him an attack order against Manfred. But at this point, his leadership is going to finally crumble. And this Gorbel is going to be chased off the field. Even though we have a Gore Herd coming in to try and reinforce, they're going to chase him off the field. The Brave Shaman is being chased off the field by these Cairn Rays. So the enemy still has these 2 full Cryptors. We still have a Graveguard right here. I believe this Graveguard is near death. Yeah, it's crumbling right now in the fight against Bob. Yeah, there's a group of zombies dying. They still have their Felbats, which is not much of a concern for me. It just sucks that we finally lost the Gorbel. But that, like, the Gorbel fight against Vargulf, Blood Knights, and Manfred lasted like 12 minutes. Like, it was non-stop maneuvering, trying to pull me out of the forest, me trying to pull him back into the forest, pulling back to get reinforcements to help the Gorbels against the Vargulf. Like, it was a lot of micromanagement was done in just like 5 units in total between me and the enemy, while the rest of our army just kind of duked it out over here. So this is what I have left. This Chaos Spawn is going to die because of summoning sickness or whatever they call it here. But we still have a fully healed Morgor, which is very strong, very powerful. Just something to keep a note, he has a very high magic resistance, so the Cairn Race and the Banshee do not really do much against him. He has regeneration, so mostly any damage that those units specifically do, he's going to be able to regenerate through. Bob the Giant is still mostly full. We still have a Bestigor, 2 Bestigors, I mean, and then the Gore Herd. But all these infantry units are near death. Their leadership is already low, and none of them are immune to psychology. I wish Bestigors were immune to psychology, but they're not. So I already know, like, there's so much terror and fear here already that the enemy still has. And I'm like, well, because we're kind of gearing up for the final engagement here. And I'm like, my infantry is going to collapse. This is all going to be on Morgor, the Giant, and that's basically it. Because I'm not really expecting much of my infantry at this point. Their leadership is just too low. They can't really withstand fear and terror. And I think we have one more Chaos Spawn left, and it's the one which we have to destroy an enemy unit. So I'm looking at these Blood Knights, because they are definitely within range of the Chaos Spawn. I'm not going to use it yet because we're not into a hard engage. So right here, I was chasing off some units through the forest. I want to try and engage in the forest because, again, there are Cryptors, of which they still have full hit points here. We'll have a disadvantage in the forest. Then I try to chase off these Cairn Rays, and now I'm going to go back over here to the edge of the forest. We're going to try and chase these Graveguard. Still have almost 7 minutes. Fast forward here a little bit. So trying to engage against the Graveguard. And then I'm going to run one infantry group against the Graveguard to try and lure my enemy into an assault on me, thinking that I'm doing like a mass charge. So we're going to charge this Gore Herd, and then the Cryptors are going to start coming in. And then we're going to be like, okay, so we're going to turn on the Cryptors, we're going to engage them in the forest, and I pull back that Gore Herd. So we're going to have one of our final engagements here. We have Apocalyptic Visions being dropped on all of my units to try and buff their leadership to make them survive the fear and terror. And you can see my enemy's going to pull out their Cryptors, try and lure me out of the forest. Because most of the units that they have left that deal damage are definitely going to take a disadvantage in the forest. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to re-engage against these troops that are coming in at this side. I'm trying my best to stay at least in the forest's edge. But at the same time, I'm not just going to sit in the direct middle of the forest and just camp there. Because clearly the enemy doesn't want to fight in there. And, like, I'll try to use the terrain to my advantage, but I'm not going to be a dick about it. So I'm willing to accept this engagement at the forest edge. Technically, I think the Cryptors are outside the forest, so they don't really have any disadvantage. And that's fine. That's totally fine. So here we go. We have the last Chaos Spawn being summoned through the corpses of the Blood Knights, and they're going to assist against us against this fight. But when the Chaos Spawn pop up, the enemy is going to disengage, which is a smart decision. There's no reason to fight the Chaos Spawn. The thing is, though, the Chaos Spawn are fresh, and I'm going to have them chase these Cairn Rays because the Cairn Rays are tired, so they cannot outrun these fresh Chaos Spawn. Well, I guess we chase them after we kill these Graveguard. I think that's the last graveyard unit they have. Yeah, so now it's just Cryptors, Karen Race. My infantry came back from routing, but they got re-feared or whatever, and they were going to run again. So there we go, we're going to engage against the Karen Race with Chaos Spawn. The Cryptors are coming back in. Cryptors are armor-piercing units, and they're really good against, like, our Bestigors. But against Bob the Giant and Morgor of the Shadowgave, they are not. Like, they still will deal damage, but this is a tough battle for them to fight. Meanwhile, the Chaos Spawn, I'm just going to try and destroy these Karen Race. You can see we have lowered their leadership to the point where they are going to start to crumble. They're trying to keep us busy with the Fellbats. I think I gave an attack order for the Chaos Spawn. Yeah, I'm trying to move them away from the Fellbats. There's no reason for me to fight them. They're just a tar pit unit there. So I'm going to try and run the Chaos Spawn into this fight to assist Morgor, the Shadowgave, and Bob the Giant. While Manfred just kind of watches, these guys are going to be slowly crumbling to death. I think I run a Bestigor unit into them as well. I'm trying to get more units to come back who have routed, but again, they're susceptible to fear and terror, so they're really not going to do much. Manfred's going to do a risky play here and fall or charge Bob the Giant, or maybe Morgor, I'm not sure. So I'm going to switch our attacks to Manfred, and you can see we get a couple hits. He only has 200 hit points left, kill him! But he's going to be able to run. Once again. So we're now concentrating, I believe, on the Banshee. I think I have Bob attacking. She does have a lot of physical resistance, but he has so much damage that he can still get a lot through. So I want to kill her. I'm trying to kill the leadership at this point. You can also see we are making the, I think, Fellbats crumble, and the Karen Race are dangerously low. These Cryptors are dangerously low. We're going to charge in, but these guys are immediately affected by terror once again, because they are not immune to psychology. So they have just ran in and routed like 3 times. Right here, we're just trying to give chase because the enemy is trying to disengage from this battle. So I'm trying to deal as much damage to these Karen Races as I can because they're so close to crumbling. At least they were here just a moment ago, but their leadership is now coming back. Bob the Giant is taking a lot of damage from these Cryptors, but he has dealt out a lot of damage as well. You can see this one is almost dead. This Banshee's almost dead, and this Cryptor is taking some damage. Manfred, of course, is like 2 hits away. So since the enemy disengaged, I'm now going to use this time to kind of pull back into the forest and try and get them to come and follow me into there. And they are going to do that, so we're going to have another fight here at the forest's edge, where the Cryptors and Manfred have a disadvantage. So we're going to turn around, do some damage, and I'm trying to target, again, I think the Banshee or either this Cryptor, one of those two, I can't remember. I'm just trying to kill the units that are close to death. Meanwhile, Manfred's going to reroute and terrify the Bestigor herd that was trying to come back. And Bob the Giant is taking some more damage. He is near death. Morgor and him are just trying to go back to back and kill whatever they can. So now we're on this Cryptor group. My Bestigors are finally going to be routed off the field, so now all I have left is Bob and Morgor. And you can see the enemy is going to disengage once again, because I believe they don't want to fight in the forest. I'm going to try and chase them down a little bit. Get one more good hit against the Cryptor. The Banshee's going to do another charge, so we're going to just turn our attacks on her, and then here comes Manfred once again. And Manfred charges Bob. Bob is almost dead. Manfred's almost dead. Get him, Bob! I think I'm going to cast Apocalyptic Visions here in a moment. And there we go! And they both go down at the same time. With one valiant swing left, Bob finishes off Manfred von Karstein as he now succumbs or falls prey to his own wounds. He is going to just rest a little bit. I'm sure he will pop right back up here soon. Mochi Bob. Mochi Bob. You did work, Bob. You did work. You may now rest. So now Manfred von Karstein and Bob rest together there in the forest. The Banshee is over here slowly crumbling to death. As is this Cryptor unit, so the opponent's going to run one more Cryptor unit over here against Morgor. And at this point, I'm like, I think I pretty much got this. The Cryptors don't have the damage necessary to really go through Morgor's regeneration and just tanking this. And there we go, the Banshee is going to crumble. They are slowly crumbling. Now the thing is, this timer is how much is left in the actual game. Not just in this replay, in the game. I think basically. This has been basically a 20-minute game, and that's how long these matches are. So now it's just me against these 2 Cryptors, and again, I have the like I know I can win this unless they can break my leadership, which I don't think they can because the power bar was in my favor. So it's just a matter of trying to destroy 2 Cryptors in the amount of time that's left, because Morgor is just so tanky, especially against these Cryptors. They just don't really have what it takes to kill him. At least not fast. Because he's doing a lot of damage to them. They're not really armored up. They don't really have a high melee defense, so he's going to be just throwing out tons of damage, and there are 17 seconds left. And I'm trying to kill this one group because I'm trying to break their leadership, so I'm trying to destroy as many numbers as we can. Because and there we go. At the very end, at the last second of the game, this is a draw, technically. their morale broke and they started to crumble, and then their morale started to shoot down so fast. If there was literally like 5 seconds left, this would have been a victory. So technically, it's a draw. In either case, it was a good game. I do not have draws often. At all, actually. I'm trying to remember. I don't think I've ever had a 20-minute match in this game. So for kills here, Morgo the Shadow Gave is an excellent hero. Got 71 kills. Bray Shaman, cast some spells. The Gorbals don't have a high impressive amount of kills, but they were after, you know, the Blood Knights, the Vargulf, and Manfred von Karstein, so they did some work. God, that was like a 12-minute fight and just chasing down between their units and my Gorbals, and man, that was some intense micro in this battle throughout like the entire thing for the most part. The Ungor Spearman got some kills. Like, the infantry here was just there to kill the enemy's infantry, and they did a pretty good job of doing that. The best scores racked up a ton of kills. And then Bob the Giant, 164 kills, most of those against the 2 Grave Guard, and then the Cryptors, and I believe some Cairn Race as well. So Bob the Giant did a lot of work. For Empty here, we have 19 kills with Manfred, 30 on the Banshee, which is actually a lot. The Zombies got a ton of kills against our front line. The Grave Guard, again, I sent the Giant after them specifically to try and shut them down, but they still managed to get some kills. The Cairn Race did pretty good here. 111 kills is really good on the Cairn Race. 57 kills on Blood Knight. Vargulf did okay. Actually, really good because, like my Gorbals, they were, you know, focused on my heroes as my heroes are focused on, you know, their Vargulf. So they didn't get an impressive amount of kills, but they still did a lot of damage to my Gorbals. So good work there. 86 kills on a Fellbat. Holy shit. What the... I noticed it on like the periphery, like chasing my routing units. So probably got a ton of kills from routing units, which is probably how you should use them in this matchup. And then the Cryptors did pretty well as at the same time. Man, that's a lot of talking. It's 20 minutes of straight up talking. That's a long match. But let's go look at a cinematic view of this battle. And here starts the 12-minute, basically like a car chase scene, you know, like in action movies, how some of them just kind of go on and on. That's basically what this is. Gorbals chasing Vargulf, Vargulf chasing Gorbals. Everyone just getting knocked down. Honestly, I could probably just follow the Gorbals for the first 12 minutes and you'll see most of the action. What? What? Okay, that was weird. Woo! Gonna be a lot of knocking over of Gorbals. That's the puppy, man. Puppy power. Ooh. Yeah, my Gorbals get knocked down a lot. I think we just got finished up with killing some skeletons over here. I probably should not have had my Bestigors out here on the flank. Like, this should have just been Gore Herds. Oh well. Because they're kind of isolated out here. So right here, we're trying to cut them off with these Ungor Spearmen, trying to pull them around while engaging them with the Gore Bulls. But the enemy is going to be able to maneuver out of my trap. Or not trap, but just my maneuver. That's what they're getting ready to do. Van Heel's Dance Macabre? I must have missed that. Yeah, you better run, puppy. You better run! Yeah, so much maneuvering was going on here. Them trying to lure my Gorbals away so they'd be isolated, and me trying to lure their people away so they'd be like, it was just... It was a good match. It was a good match. Get him, Bob. Get some more damage on the Blood Knights. And I'm like, we gotta go. We gotta go. We got Race coming in. We got Manfred. We got some Graveguard coming in. We gotta go. Get in there, Chaos Spawn. I don't think Graveguard bleed. Oh well. That one did. Bob, I don't think you want to eat the head of a Graveguard, dude. That's it's kind of disgusting, even for you. Woo! A lot of Gorbal tossing in this. Not something you see all the time. He's like, this mother... Doing whatever I can to use my Ungors and Gors as shields for my Gorbals. Yeah, knock that puppy down. Now Bob's getting into the secondary Graveguard group. Bob's pissed. I think they're just fighting zombies out here. Yeah. Oh! God, just the back and forth, man. Between the Gorbals and the puppy. Finish it! And I was like, I can't. He's so loaded. He's so close to death. But if I got put into a fight out here, I was going to get pounced on by the Cryptor's Race and maybe Manfred. Like, that's just... Couldn't do it. Couldn't risk it. Just a non-stop battle between these two. And then the stare down. That was odd. He rolled this way and knocked the puppy back. Huh. And then finally, the puppy falls. God. The Scorpion held out long enough to see that done, at least. And most of the Blood Knights. And mostly Manfred. Eat his corpse! Eat his... God, you look so ugly. And then there goes our Gorbel. Routed off the field. Or did he die? Oh shit, they actually, no, they got him. Oh man. He did not get to live another day. Damn. I missed that. Now we can kind of fast forward as we go into the forest. And my infantry is going to rout out of here almost instantly. Oh no, wait, that's when they actually do like a hard engage with everything. That's when they rout. Right now they're just trying to draw me out of the forest. Now I think everything is basically routing. Goodbye, Blood Knights. Hello, Chaos Spawn. At least we get their Graveguard unit in this exchange. Because most everything else was able to pull out in time, but the Graveguard just were too slow. Because if we didn't at least get the Graveguard, then like the Chaos Spawn could potentially be just a total waste. Which is why I'm trying to chase down the Karen race with them. And then I guess they came in willingly though. What a bats. And now it's basically just Bob and Morgor back to back. Yes, we have reinforcements. Get in there. Alright, thanks for stopping by. It's been fun. I don't even know if they got an attack off. More reinforcements. Oh. Oh. No. Nope. There go my chaos spawn. Get in that forest, Bob. You tired beast. It's like, you know what? Hit my ankle again. Where are you going? You think you're leaving this forest alive. You're wrong! And then in a valiant last act. God! The very last second. Man. That's like from an anime right there. That very loud, giant, like, warrior character who's always like, ha ha ha, you know, like that kind of guy. That was Bob. And at the very end, he smiled with, you know, his body is covered in blood, and he's like, now I can finally rest, or something. Yeah, he'll have some kind of one-liner before he dies. You know the character I'm talking about. That's basically what just happened there. The villain of the series, Manfred, finally fell, but our hero fell as well. Then there's going to be like a sad montage with all of our other characters, like Morgor and him playing poker or something, and with, like, you know, sad music behind it. And now it's just kind of a long drawn out fight here. You got this, Morgor. You tanky bastard. And there it is. But what kills me is at the literal last second of the match is when their leadership just started to go whoop, you know how it does with the vampire counts when they start to when they're actually about to rout, and then their leadership just goes nuts and then they crumble like within seconds. So it's just like at the very last moment, I was about to achieve a victory for Morgor, but oh well. It was a good game. 20-minute long game, and like only the first, I'd say, minute and a half to 2 minutes was maneuvering our armies closer together or just around. So like it was a long fight, a very, very long fight. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this battle with Bob versus Manfred, and I will see you all next time. Take care.